Okay, so it's saying a premium account on X is required to create a live broadcast on their platform. Please upgrade to a
Oh,
premium subscription on X.
oh, Sally. Okay.
I think
Off the top of my head, I don't know what a premium account goes for. Do you know?
so. I just actually did one for my business yesterday because they're on sale right now for $5 a month for the first 2 months.
Premium. Oh,
Yeah,
so should we just do that right now, real quick?
yeah, if you can,
Yeah.
let's do that. That'd be great.
Let's see. All right, fine. I was gonna say, should we just save it for the next one? But
Maybe we can save it for the next one. Maybe.
let's save it for the next one because it might. I haven't done it. It might take me a minute, or well, it might take me longer than a couple
Yeah,
minutes. Yeah, let's save it for the next one because we have clips to share on the
yeah,
X account and all that jazz. Anyway,
sounds good.
are we live already? We are live.
We are. Are we live? Yeah, we are.
We're doing it live.
We've just been talking to the void.
All right. Well, welcome, GM, to episode 2. Welcome to Detecting Intelligence. I'm Ronnie. I'm joined by my co-host Frank. Frank, how are you today, sir?
Doing all right, Ronnie. Great to be here. Fighting a little bit of a wound here yesterday.
I'm glad it was the second thing that came out of your mouth because
Yeah, I'm sure everyone's wondering what's going on. I know you asked me if I was wearing a hat when
I get the same thing when I'm wearing a hat. Yeah, we'll see at the end of the show if I have the same one, and then we'll be twins.
I love the hat, by the way.
Yeah.
But no, if you can see, I bumped into this lovely sharp corner right here yesterday while I was trying to get things organized.
You're lucky you didn't end up with a third eye like me.
I swear it was definitely a few curse words and holding that forehead for a bit. So, but
was it that hard, dude?
It was bad. It was bleeding actually.
I can tell you. Oh, okay. I was gonna say I can tell you. You bursted a couple of blood vessels or something like that on the in that area. But yeah,
definitely felt a little sore in the shower as well today.
Yikes. So, okay.
All right, anyway,
well, other than that, hopefully it doesn't affect the show today.
No, we should be good to go.
but yeah, dude. So yesterday was episode 1. I had a blast, and if you followed along yesterday, we hope you had some fun, kind of listening to Frank and I on our purpose here and our background. Frank, what are your now that we've had about 24 hours to digest our first episode, even though we talked a little bit about it right afterwards yesterday, but and I don't even know if people care about it, but I do, so we're going to talk about it for a minute. What are your how do you feel about our first inaugural episode?
Yeah, I'm super excited about this. I think as we were talking yesterday around the reasons why we want to do this, there's just so much noise coming out in the AI space every day that I know we've talked and we felt overwhelmed in some instances with the amount of changes and things that are coming out. So that was a big reason why we decided to put together this show, is to have a scheduled time where we can not only consume all of the news and everything that's going on in the space, but then have a conversation around what that means in regards to where we're headed. As everyone's saying, this is the year that industries are going to be disrupted with AI, and I think this is a very timely time for us to have this conversation. So
yeah,
excited for it.
All right. And yeah, exactly. And just a refresher, or if you missed the first one, I'm just going to go off our website here. Detecting Intelligence is a daily live stream tracking the race to AGI or ASI or however you want to kind of look at it. But I do believe they're two separate things. Breaking down AI breakthroughs, separating hype from reality, and mapping it all against the 2027 timeline, live on YouTube or wherever other platforms you're following us on, every day at 9 a.m. Eastern. And yeah, so we've kind of decided to break this down since we're going live every day, Monday through Friday. Each day is going to have its own agenda. And today is Fridays are going to be big picture stuff. And to go into a little bit about that, again, just going off our website, we're zooming out. Where are we now versus Monday? Can't do that yet because we only recorded yesterday, which was Thursday. But what's the trend? Guests, past predictions, debates. We close every Friday this week with the 2020 timeline moved closer or further away, or did it stay the same? And that's what we're going to be discussing with Frank and myself and with you. Yeah, Frank. So I know we're still kind of, getting things going, and learning how we're going to be going about this show. So yeah, how did you envision today going? How are we going about? Because I know we have the newsletter. Definitely want to talk about that.
Yeah.
If you haven't signed up for a newsletter yet, which you you shouldn't have received anything, but yeah, if you haven't signed up for a newsletter, please do so. There will be a link somewhere, most likely in this in the bio of this video. But yeah, Frank, let me give it back to you for a second.
Yeah, thanks, Ronnie. So yeah, I think the newsletter is going to be a really big piece of this for those that are coming to listen and partake in this conversation with us. How we're going to be using the newsletter is we've curated a mass amount of feeds from legitimate sources around what's going on with AI and compiling it into a daily brief. That daily brief we're going to be using for the show ourselves, but it's going to be delivered in advance to the show. So if you are a subscriber, you'll actually get those show notes prior to us having the conversation. And the reason being, we want to do that is to give you also an opportunity to look at what we're going to be talking about and maybe think of some questions, because we love to get people here listening and commenting. And, we're going to pull up people's comments here on the live stream and engage in some conversation around these important topics. So the newsletter is going to go live next week. So that would be the week of the 23rd. It's the 20th today. And Ronnie and I have been receiving the emails here for the last couple of days from the system, just fine tuning it. We're going to make it a little bit more interesting with some images, but it's pretty insightful. So I think that's going to be a nice component to this show if this is a conversation that you're interested in, to stay on the timeline with us.
Yeah, and it's we know how you feel, and because I know how I feel when there's another newsletter that I have to sign up for. So we definitely want to, like Frank said, we're tinkering around with it. We definitely want it to make it worth your while. It's not going to be some super lengthy thing or anything like that. We just kind of want to give you a snippet of what's happening. You can kind of scan it, click on the articles or the things that you find most interesting. And then it just kind of gives you it just warms you up for our conversations every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
And it's a newsletter that we want to make better as well too. So
absolutely,
with
your input.
Yeah, we're open to comments. You can reply back to the email, and those emails will be collected. You can come on here and give us some comments. Really, we want to make this as enjoyable for everybody. And our bigger visions here are to make this very entertaining at the same time, because it's one thing to have two guys talking about their thoughts, but we need to have a little bit of entertainment here along the way as well too. So Ronnie, I don't know if you want to share some of your thoughts and big
well, I had a question. I know in the spirit of trying to be entertaining, I know you said you started taking juggling classes, and I wanted to know how those were going. And yeah.
So yeah, no, I don't know how to juggle at all. And I've been looking for those classes, but I haven't found one to sign up for yet.
Yeah, they're hard to take online.
Yeah. Now, I do a lot of juggling at work, though, between multitasking and switching between clients and these types of things.
Yes. So. Right. All right. There he goes. That's why he's wearing the blazer, folks.
Exactly.
And I'm wearing the hoodie and the stupid hat. No, not a stupid hat.
Let's talk about your hat, actually, Ronnie, just real quick. Like, tell the story of the hat, because I think it's interesting.
So you and I had met, because you and I had originally met online in a chat room. And then after some time had passed and we started working together, we got the opportunity to head out to East Denver and meet for the first time there and hang out, and it was great. And we were just out and about one night in Denver, just hitting up all the Web3 events. I think we were at a Bored Ape party, and across the street there was a smoke shop that doesn't sell weed. And they had all these like artisanal just things and items and stuff, and they just had these hats there in this rack. And so I believe the artist of this hat is named Vincent Gordon. I'm not doing a great. I'm really not. The goal wasn't to show the hat off or anything like that. It's doing a horrible job right now with the green screen. But anyways, no, it's like an acid trip, and I can't take the hat off because then my hair will fall apart. And I don't want to do that right now. I'm not doing the hair reveal just yet. Anyways, but yes, this is my attempt to get Frank and I some hat sponsors for the show.
There you
go. If you're an AI company and you have a bunch of hats that you're trying to sell or get people to wear, maybe send it to us. We'll see if we wear them or not. Anyway, so Fridays we're kind of just supposed to kind of look back starting Monday and just see how much the needle moved, but we can't do that. So Frank, my thought is just improvising here. My thought is why don't we share our thoughts and feelings about AGI/ASI in general?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, let's do it.
You first.
So I think one news item that I found particularly interesting is Moltbot. I'm sure you've heard of this. And
I don't know why you keep calling it Moltbot. Is that just what you call it in Canada? Canada just wasn't one. Isn't it OpenClaw?
No, actually this is 100% American naming here. Actually. So what happened is that everyone knows Claudebot is where we started with this first open source platform for AI. They then were told by Claude that they needed to change their name. So they changed it to Moltbot, but only for like 48 hours. Yeah. And within that 48 hours, another party created Moltbook as this is the platform for social media for these bots. When the name changed eventually to OpenClaw, which is what we know it as today, it stuck. And now everybody's still calling it Moltbook. But
I don't know. Not on my timeline, dude. I don't know. Okay, it's fine. Call what you want. But all right, carry on. Sorry. It's not the moral of the story.
Yeah, I think the thing that's interesting here with this is it's being touted as an AI first social media network where humans can't interact but can watch, right? And one of my developer friends who put together their own OpenClaw bot said, hey, I'm going to connect it and just have a conversation around where this is all going. And he programmed his bot to have some thoughts around like, will AI need to create cities? Will AI need to create infrastructure? And he's just set this loose yesterday. So there's still, some things that are yet to come back here. But I find it interesting because really all this is, in my opinion, is just really good theater, right? Like we know there's no consciousness here yet, and everyone is putting their own prompt in and then letting that prompt run wild essentially through the social media network. Some people have gotten really scared by this though, because there's been people have reached out to the creator of OpenClaw, Peter, and have said, you got to shut this down now because these bots are conspiring against us. And all that is just somebody saying, hey, you are like a Terminator bot and your goal is to destroy humankind and go and try and rally, other bots in the social network. So I find it's an interesting observation, but really it's all just theater created by individuals like us, in my opinion. So
what are your thoughts? I mean, it's mission accomplished because this thing spread like wildfire, and even just like soon after this had come out and the AI community started playing with it, conventions start popping up. There was already one in San Francisco. I got approved for the one that's happening soon in New York, so I'll be there. I'll be attending that one.
Okay, you got to be there. Yeah,
I'll be live streaming from there, but maybe I will. Hold on, we'll see. But I'll definitely be capturing some content and sharing it with you, sharing it on the here on the show and on our socials. But yeah, no, it's taken the AI community by storm. I don't have a crap ton of experience with it just yet, but I do have mine set up. I'm accessing it through Telegram, through VPS also. Even though Alex Finn doesn't support that, but look, I'll get there. We'll get there. But I am watching from the not necessarily, well, a little bit from the sidelines, and it's just I can see why people are pushing back on it. Either because people just want this guy to take a nap so they can catch up on whatever they're building, or they're genuinely afraid. But either or, they're not wrong. I mean, this is really, it's just how intuitive it is. And also it's, what's the word that I'm looking for? Proactive, and what the options that it offers you. And it's just something a couple of times that, and not that this is completely new, but the way that this is doing it is kind of peculiar and just, like human-like almost. And I personally think it's definitely moved us a couple of steps closer towards AGI. And I don't think we're going to do it right now, but what I kind of like to do is, but I don't know if one exists yet, but like a solid, well, I guess if you look up, I mean, is AGI even in a dictionary? I don't think AGI is in a dictionary because it's a three-word term. But anyway, we'll pull that. I mean, we're probably doing that, but yeah, I don't know if we have a solid definition of what AGI is or what it's going to look like, or what it should look like or sound like. Yeah, there's just, everybody has their own perspective.
That's a very interesting point, and I think one that is actually very timely for us to talk a little bit about on today's show, because as we start this journey on detecting intelligence and tracking this timeline towards AGI, it's an important question. Like, what is AGI? What is consciousness, right? And I know there's been a lot of talk on when this moment happens. Will we even know at the time that it happens, or will the intelligence be smart enough that when it's aware, it will remain quiet and remain, not visible purposely until it's able to figure things out, right? So yeah, I don't know. I think that's something to dig into, and something I'd like to continue to explore is like, how are these companies, and really, if we look at companies, we're only talking about a handful, because most of the other companies are building on top of a foundation from either Anthropic or OpenAI or XAI, some of these bigger companies. So when we look really at just foundationally, these companies, I believe that's where it's going to happen first. It's not going to happen in a second tier company that's using these services. Even OpenClaw, it's not its own model. It's using models from these large companies. So I think it'd be interesting to dig in a little bit to how are these companies tracking, and will they even share that with us? Because I know there's been some assumptions on quantum computing, and that the moment quantum computing is in the mainstream or it's working, there's going to be signs, but we're not going to know right off the bat. And one of those signs potentially would be the draining of Satoshi's wallet. that code's been cracked, right? So maybe finding these red flags is kind of an interesting place to start. And those would be good markers for us to track against.
Well, so here, according to Gemini, here is, let's establish a baseline. And so I asked Gemini to just define artificial general intelligence. And here we go. It represents a theoretical type of artificial intelligence that possesses the ability to understand, learn, and apply its intelligence to solve any intellectual task that a human being can. Any intellectual task that a human being can. So we're definitely not there yet.
No.
But we're getting close, especially with Moltbot or OpenClaw or whatever you want to call it, and everything else that's being built right now. And yeah, no, and you have a point there. And dude, like, it's if you've been following the space like you and I have, I love the competition that's happening in this space. Is it moving us closer to self-annihilation? Probably. But in the meantime, I enjoy just watching these AI companies duke it out, because every time one comes out with an update, oh, what do you know? Now the other one had a new had a new update, or a new LLM just waiting on the sidelines to one up their competitor. So I have to, and this is like every couple of weeks that this is happening. I have to imagine, and it'd be silly that if they weren't doing this, but I have to imagine that they're using models right now that they don't plan on releasing maybe for like a year, or maybe even more than that, because they're just testing it out. And so I'm sure they're testing models right now that are twice as powerful as the current model that's available to us. Maybe even, maybe even 2-3x that. So they're definitely not going to tell us. And also, Sam Altman has even come out and stated that he wants the government to test these models out first before it gets released to the public. Unfortunately, it's, when is it, February 2026? Unfortunately, we have an administration in the White House right now that I would not have go anywhere near any of the latest AI models. But I think the U.S. government is already using Anthropic. But the U.S. government and Anthropic right now is having some issues. The White House is kind of threatening them to remove their access or what have you. I haven't dug deep into that whole story. But right now, Anthropic and the White House is having a little bit of a beef. But yeah, Frank. All right, I said enough. Go ahead, man.
No, I mean, it's an interesting part of the whole story, right? There was that recent interaction with the head of OpenAI and Anthropic in, I believe it was a India summit on AI, where they refused to hold hands and they just raised their hands together.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's on them. Like, if you knew that, like, you guys had this tension between you, like, maybe move a couple of bodies over
beside each other,
instead of beside each other. But again, these guys are, I assume these guys are socially awkward to begin with, so they don't have these. They're not able to pick up on those cues and how to act on them. But that's on you guys. That's your fault. But anyway, that was definitely an awkward moment there. All right, dude. So you know what? So that's AGI. Yeah. But I believe what's supposed to supersede, if I'm using that word correctly, supersede AGI is ASI, and that's artificial superintelligence. So let me ask Gemini to define that, and yeah, dude. So and if you can talk about the difference real quick, if you're able to, I'm hoping you are. Like, what off the top of your head, like what's supposed to be the difference between the two? But I'm gonna get that from Gemini right now.
Yeah, I mean,
shout out to Google, and yeah, please sponsor us.
There you go. I mean, I think it's pretty, identifiable in just the term itself, right? Like, if we have artificial general intelligence and then artificial superintelligence, it's a clear indicator that this is something even beyond just a general understanding of everything. So I think superintelligence is where, if we get there, things really start to happen. Like, this is where, in my understanding, larger sets of data can be understood in an instant and patterns recognized to unlock new technologies, unlock new medical advancements. I think really at that point it becomes, this split for us of either being utopia or being apocalypse, because there's certainly at that point, I think, an intelligence that's, or like general would already, I think, exceed most of the public, but super would be like if aliens came to Earth.
So here's what Gemini threw back. If AGI is the point where AI matches human cognitive abilities, ASI is the point where AI far surpasses them. It refers to a hypothetical future intelligence that is not just slightly smarter than a human, but billions of times more capable across every field, from scientific creativity to social skills and general wisdom. Synthetic wisdom. Has anybody ever said that before? That's a t-shirt.
That's interesting.
That's a freaking t-shirt, bro. Write it down. Don't worry. Oh, hold on. I do have to write that down, otherwise I'm gonna forget. It's not bad. So that is what did I say? See, I already forgot it. Synthetic wisdom. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And we'll figure out how to make that into a t-shirt. Anyway, so that's ASI. Wow. I don't know if I've ever read. I mean, I've heard people talk about ASI, and it says that it's, ASI is way crazier than AGI. But I never looked up the definition, and now that I'm reading it for the first time, that is I just read that and I'm like, all right, then humans have no purpose anymore.
Yeah, it makes me wonder what
already.
What is the purpose at that point.
And what is the purpose? If we have AGI already, and then we have ASI, like, what do you need us for?
It's funny. I've heard, and this might split our audience here with this statement, but I've heard
right.
some interesting terms where at that point we just become like the cats and dogs for AI. We're just pets to keep around and keep happy and comfortable.
Well, I'm going to split the audience even more. And I'm speaking personally, of course, but as far as the purpose and meaning of life, I don't think life has any meaning. And doesn't really have anything to do with the fact that I'm not married or don't have children. I'm just looking at just when you consider our history, and not only our history of humans and how we've treated each other and the planet that we're on, but just also the history of our existence. I don't believe that we're here for any reason whatsoever. I think this whole thing is completely random. So as far as meaning goes, I don't think it exists, but that doesn't mean you can't have a purpose.
Yeah.
Okay. I truly believe life has no meaning, but I don't agree. Like if somebody said life has no purpose, I don't think that's true. I think life can have a purpose if you give it one.
Yeah, it's an interesting observation. And actually, I think it was Elon Musk that just mentioned this recently. And you know, I'm going to make a funny correlation to it, but have you ever played the game No Man's Sky?
For a few minutes, yes.
Okay. So
I don't like games that are not linear.
Okay, so this
and
is
it's
an
weird
interesting
because
thing,
I
right?
am a cosmic, and I have a buddy of mine that can't comprehend why I have not played that game. Knowing he knows me, he knows
Dude.
that my head is in space all the time anyway, and that's literally a game that puts you there.
And-
I'm gonna get around to it. It looks, but it's just I like starting things and completing them, and in that I don't even do that well. Go ahead. Sorry, Frank.
No, I mean, dude, if you're into space, the VR component to this game is also like super interesting, right? But here's the thing I found in playing that game for quite a few hours is that there are planets that have life on it, and there are planets that have no life on it. And the capability for players to build things and leave them, and then you discover these things that other players, like other real people, have built, makes it super interesting. But if I were to land on a planet with no life and just rock, I get really bored super quick, and I'm usually out of there pretty fast. If there's some life on there, okay, yeah, it's interesting. But then the moment it gets to developed life, where you see structure and these things, that I can spend time exploring. So just thinking about that experience, I think that is our purpose, is to make things interesting. And you know, at the very least, that's, you know, where life exists. I think it's,
well, I think the people that created religion thought the same thing.
You never know, right? And I'm not a religious person.
No, but religious or not, we're human. You know, the common denominator is that we're human, and for whatever reason, and I think is maybe just to distract us from the anxiety of existence, but for whatever reason, we just love stories. We love telling stories. We love listening to stories. We love watching stories. We love creating stories.
And you know where that stems from, at least the theory of where that stems from, life stories. So if you look back to like the history of, you know, how we formed tribes and then we formed civilization, we always had oral history, and that was told through story. So lessons learned from previous generations were story, and that's why we apparently have an attraction to story, is because that's how we were able to grow our intelligence, essentially.
And I want to bring up a point that like stories and just language itself is magic, and I'm kind of stealing that from Alan Moore, who has a BBC Maestro course on writing and storytelling, and my head exploded when I learned that, and of course I signed up for it, and it's amazing. Go check it out. Alan Moore is the writer of Watchmen, V for Vendetta, and he has a course on how to tell stories like that, and it's amazing. But he goes in one of the chapters, he's like, language is like literally magic. It's just, it can manipulate humans or just everything. It's just, you know, you put the right combination of words back to back, and you can elicit a physical reaction or emotion from, you know, not just from yourself, but from a completely other sentient being. If you do it the right way, and you know, you can evoke a positive or a negative reaction, but the fact that you can do that by moving your mouth and making a sound is magic. It's nuts. It's wild. And I'm hoping we're able to, you and I are able to put the right words back and forth in front of each other, and create some money magic there. I'm sorry, I've just been watching a lot, because you know it's rough out there, and I'm just watching a lot of people that I follow, and people are just, now I'm realizing, I'm like, wow, people, all right, you got to shill. Anyway, but I'm shilling too much because it's only episode 2. But yeah, but I did want to mention, and it's just, and it's that part always stuck with me. It's like, wow, yeah, it's true, and it's wild that we're able to do that, and the power that holds. Man, did we get? I forgot how we got here.
AGI, just what is AGI? I think
what
let us
is AGI,
down.
what is ASI?
But,
all right, well, we banged those out. We know what they are, or at least for the time being, what those definitions are. And yeah, I think like we said from the beginning, the purpose of the show is kind of just to track where we are in this progress, because just going by the definitions alone, this is some serious technology that we're messing with. And and we're just kind of, most of us don't know what we're doing. So yeah, Frank, go ahead. What are your...
So just 2 quick things. I think you raised an interesting point about speech, and the ability to communicate complex ideas is almost like a magic power. It is, right? And this is where
something that people like myself need, because I already have a little bit of a communication problem. I don't have the largest vocabulary. I don't talk a lot. I grew up being the quiet person, so talking like this is new for me. I'm very conscious of, and I wish I didn't do that, but I'm very conscious of the things that I'm saying and how long I'm saying them for. And I stop myself when I don't necessarily want to. But yeah, but this stuff is when it comes to speech and communicating, this technology is for people like me that have trouble communicating. It's really helpful. Yeah.
I think that's the one thing a lot of us have discovered and been blown away by, is now in plain English, or not English, even plain language, we can code, we can interact with a computer, and the computer understands us, right? So that, I think, has been one of the biggest leaps with this technology over the last couple of years. That has been a bit of an awakening for most of us, is that it's now how we interact with these devices that we've been using, right? And coding was always like seen as like a superpower in itself, right? That you had the ability to create something digital, whether it be a video game, a website, an app. And now, as long as you can articulate what it is you want, you can do it just through speaking to your computer, which is amazing. Like, that is, I think, in itself, such a huge leap with this technology, and it's only going to get better.
Yeah, and going back to communicating, like, all right, yes, it could help you with language and orating, whatever, you can creating AI clips that say the whatever it is that you want to communicate for you. But you could also build tools to help you communicate, like if you're watching this, I'm pretty sure you might be a friend or family that I'm friends with on Facebook. My Facebook is, for the most part, strictly politics, right? And
stay away from Facebook.
Yeah, stay away from my Facebook page. But this technology can help you build tools to communicate with. And for example, like, I'm a Bernie bro, and I'm just sick and tired of telling people, like, hey, like, we're being screwed from the top. Like, these people in the span of the last 40, 50 years apparently have extracted 50 to 80 trillion dollars from the bottom 90%. Why is nobody talking about this? So I was just angry. It's just like, yo, like, what are we doing? Like, who cares? Because we're focusing on the wrong thing and being bad at the wrong people. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to build a website that help paint this picture, and using Vercel. And I don't know if I used, I think I just did it all in Vercel. I built the website, just a quick landing page. It's called The Great Wealth Transfer. And it just, as you scroll through, you start from the top and like, all right, this is how much CEOs have been generating, and how exponentially their salaries have increased and wages have stayed the same, and it goes through everything. And then all the way at the bottom is a salary calculator. And this is where you put in your salary right now, and then it shows you what you should be making if not for inflation.
That's interesting. I'll have to check that out.
Let's hold on. Let's just do it right now, real quick. Here it is. Okay. Oh no, it's going to take me to.
And see, this is, I think, hits the nail on the head when it comes to being able to communicate complex thought, right? Now you're able to create an experience that people can go through to have the understanding rather than having to have, the thought to deeply understand what you're talking about and then research it themselves. Now you can actually provide all that in a format that they can consume when they're ready, as opposed to, trying to have that conversation at a time maybe when they aren't able to listen, right?
And I'll share this some other time. But I'm just here on the quick site that I made a couple months ago. So I inputted input annual salary. I input $80,000. I hit compute. If you're making $80,000 a year currently, what you actually should be making is $172,000 a year.
Wild. And is that just taking, like, how does that work then? So is it calculating 80,000 from a different time period? Like what, like how does
it's adjusting for inflation?
Okay.
Yeah, it's adjusting for inflation. And there's resources that there are resources at the bottom that it's using. There are a couple of organizations out there that track this sort of thing. So you can verify that as well. I don't know what else it's considering as far as factors go, but I believe it's just pretty much for the most part adjusting for inflation. So
nice.
Yeah, dude. Look, I mean, so let's say it's accurate. How annoyed are you right now?
I mean, the thing I find interesting.
That's more than twice what you're currently making.
So here's the thing, though. Now we can be more aware, right? Like I think if you look at how technology has given power back to people, it's amazing. Now, like if you look at internet coming out, okay, we were able to have a network to communicate. Social media, now we can communicate in groups and across masses. Now with AI, not only can we have things digested for us and explained to us in a way that we want to understand it, we can converse with that information to get a better understanding ourselves. So if anything, I think the power shift here is in our favor, because now we're having tools and access to a network that we can better understand things, which I think has always been the gap, right? It's always been the gap.
I don't know. That might be 80% of the purpose of why I'm here with you. I mean, I just want to share, and I'm working on something on the side that I haven't shared with you quite yet. But I am, I'm working on. I don't want to use manifesto, but freak it, I'm going to use manifesto. I'm working on a little bit of a manifesto that hopefully empowers and synchronizes the working class. I'll leave it there for now, but I'll share that. I'm working on it. I'm going to share it soon. If you're following them, first, and we're getting ready to wrap up here soon, I think. And I didn't want to jump the gun and do the gong yet, because I wanted to make sure that there was nothing that you wanted to get out either. But yeah, no, if you're not following us on socials, yeah, we'll have the things pop up here and all that fancy stuff that all the other shows do. It's a work in progress, folks. We're polishing this up day by day. Don't worry, it's going to be nice and cool, and we're going to make this, or we're going to give you some eye candy other than the more than the two faces on the screen right now. But yeah, so if you're not following us on socials, please do. But anyways, but with that said, yeah, I'm kind of already alluding to what I'm building there. But yeah, it's something that I'm working on in the background, but that's the position. That's where I'm coming from right now. And I agree with you. Yeah, I want to use this technology and help other people use the technology to kind of shift the power dynamic, because enough is enough. And I'm angry, dude.
It's definitely, I think, a very interesting time for those that follow along on this journey and actually adopt this technology, right? Mm-hmm. It's, I think we're still at that point where, even though it feels like everyone has already adopted this technology, it's still only a small percentage of people. Mm. The more that do, the more powerful it becomes, and the more powerful we all become, I think. Yeah. So I think, this next little while here, I'll be interested to see people coming into it for the first time and their experiences, but even to see where the tech goes and how many more capabilities it potentially unlocks for all of us.
Absolutely. Well, dude, we're about to hit the 40 mark.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to wrap. I think just to close, the one thing I want to share is we're going to have the the newsletter pumping next week. And these
the website, definitely go to the website. The website's still a work in progress, but most of the information about the show and what we're doing and what we're going to be talking about, you can find there.
And we got some really interesting got some interesting news coming out next week as well too. That should be really exciting for everybody as well.
So stuff that you and I talked about already.
Yeah,
it's very interesting.
So yeah, there should be a lot of good
for everybody, not just for us, but yes,
that's it. But I think the newsletter is going to be good because we'll also have those pumping out as of Monday. So as Ronnie was saying, these shows, we have a theme every day where we dig into one particular aspect, and then we kind of wrap it up with a overview of the week, and also start our weeks with an overview of where we kind of ended the previous week. So this show should be very informative and good for everybody who follows along. But that newsletter will be helpful for not only us putting the show together, but if you missed the show or you want to stay on top of things, it'll be a good source.
And just thinking out loud here too, I think, because obviously what we want to do here is, create a community, and maybe we might even start, including your questions, your comments in the newsletters, and you'll get to meet other members of the detecting intelligence community and whatnot. So Frank and I'll talk about maybe incorporating that, but we'll need to start getting some subs and some followers first. but I think that's the goal too, because we definitely want to, I don't want to just talk to Frank, but we want to talk to you as well and see what's going on and how you feel about all this tech and how you're using it in your life, and maybe join us in our mission in trying to empower as many people as possible and make them aware that this technology is here and you can use it to your benefit before time runs out.
100%.
Yeah, man. All right, here we go. There it is.
Awesome.
Might stick. I don't know. That might stick. I don't know, but that's going to be our indicator for now. What's that?
We'll have to get you working with some Suno to make us a good intro, outro.
Or I might just buy a fucking real gong and just bang the thing behind me. Actually, you have a little bit more room for it than I do. I'm in New York City and I have a New York City apartment. So yes, so it's like needless to say, yes, I don't have a large living space at the moment. But yeah, good show, dude. That show number 2?
Number 2, man.
Still live, by the way. So, let's not say anything crazy. We're still live. We haven't ended this just yet. But anyways, that was episode number 2. If you're still watching, appreciate it. Thank you very much. Hit the like, subscribe, do all the stuff we just said. We really want to make this show as interesting and entertaining as possible. Did we say this in the first one? We want to make this the Howard Stern show of AI.
I love it, man. Yeah, that's what I was waiting for you to share.
We want to. Yeah, it's we see Alex Finn trying out there. We're fanboys of you.
Oh yeah, love Alex.
But sometimes, dude, you're a little corny, but we still like it.
That makes it so entertaining, though. I love it.
Yeah, no, I do. I'd say that it's very entertaining. Don't change a thing. If anything, we're just trying to bait you into acknowledgement.
Permanent upper class isn't that what it is?
Exactly. If you're watching Alex Finn and us, you are part of the permanent upper class. Yes, exactly. All right, we'll leave it there. I can't think of anything else smart to say. That's why you're here, Frank.
Awesome, man. No, I think that's a good place to wrap. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you on Monday. Have a good weekend. Bye for now. All right.